Hello, everyone. My name is Bode Hennegan, and I'm excited to be with you here today. Thank you to Friends Life Care for this opportunity to talk to you about the cost of clutter. So I'd like to start by telling you a little bit about myself. I am a native of Philadelphia. I have an MBA from St. Joe's University. I worked in project management for 10 years, and in 2001, I had twin boys. And 2 years later, I had twin girls. So at that point, I had full-time help in my own house, and I recognized how difficult it can be to have help in your house. Eventually, my kids did go to school, and I started volunteering through my church, and they asked me to sit with people that were sick, and that took me way out of my comfort zone. But I did it, and what I found was that there was so much emphasis on the person that was ill, and the bills were piling up on the dining room table, and things weren't getting done in the house. And so I dove right into that. And that is what gave me the idea for my business, which is Life Managers and Associates. And we support older individuals. Our clients are typically between 80 and 100 years old with the administrative and organizational responsibilities to live independently. We do a lot of bill paying, organization, and then the coordination of services to age in place. And we've been a part of so many families and have seen things that have worked and haven't worked. So I'm here to share them with you today. So let's just talk about clutter. And when you think about clutter, do you think about a situation like this? Or perhaps something like this? I'm going to give you another alternative, clutter here. So there are many costs to having clutter. And the first that come to mind are the financial costs. For instance, the loss of income due to misplaced or expired refund checks. It could be lost coupons and the inability to save money on items that you purchase. Perhaps it could be late fees that are incurred because you had lost the bill or did not pay them on time. Or the inability to return something because you don't have the receipt, or that particular item got lost in the shuffle and you lost the window for when it is that you could return it. In addition to financial costs, there are also time costs. And when you think about it, time is money, so it really is could be a financial cost as well. But it's your time searching for things. The average American spends 55 minutes a day searching for misplaced items. It is also the time to redo things that you have already completed or rebuy items that are lost within the house. Or shuffling things around, going through that stack of papers again and again, looking for different items because things aren't filed properly. It also can be the time cost to settle bigger matters. For instance, if you let your driver's license expire, it's much more difficult to have to go to the DMV than it is to just renew your license online. And perhaps there could also be time penalties just to sit on the phone, sitting on hold with the insurance company or the cable company to replace lost information. There's also health consequences. First would just be the health consequences of the stress. Clutter is excessive stimuli, and it signals to our brains that things aren't done, and it can be a distraction. The stress also can be the stress of the unknown. What is in the bottom of that pile? Research has shown that disorganization and clutter have a cumulative effect on our brains. So it's super important to eliminate this clutter. Other health consequences are that it's much more difficult to clean when there's clutter. Clutter can also be a tripping hazard, and as people age, it's really important to eliminate tripping hazards as much as possible in the home. Uh, because the last thing that you want to do is have a fall. And then there are also social implications. I've met many people who have told me that they're embarrassed to have people come to their home because it's such a mess. And being able to socialize with people is really important. And as a person ages, they may have less mobility, and having people come to them, may be their only option for socializing. So let's talk about how to eliminate clutter. And I'm going to give you 3 rules. The first rule is that every item needs a designated spot. So this is a great photograph because you know exactly where the scissors go, you know exactly where the pens go. I don't actually think anybody's drawers look like this, but it's something to aspire to. The point here is you know where to put something away when it has a home. So think about your car keys, and do you have a designated spot when you come home to put your keys, or when you take your shoes off, where your shoes go? So think about that for everything in your home. Rule number 2 is to touch things once. And think about your mail and what you do with your mail when you pull it out of the mailbox. Hopefully, you're walking right to the recycle bin and getting rid of 90% of it. But you're left with, then where does that go? I have seen over and over again someone who takes the mail and they put it on the side table next to their door, and then a couple days later they rifle through that, maybe pull out a couple bills, and they end up on the kitchen counter. Maybe they open those envelopes, and that information travels around the house, and that's a good way to get things lost. So I would encourage you to go right to the recycling, get rid of as much as you can, and the things that need attention should go into its designated spot. So whether that's a basket or a file folder, or just a pile on the desk, but it's the same pile of just things that need to be taken care of, you're touching things as few times as possible. The third rule would be to keep it simple. You want to create organized and sustainable systems. You can do all the organizing in the world, but if you can't sustain it, it really doesn't make a difference. I've had clients that have very intricate filing systems, and it's difficult for them to do it. So the simpler the system, the easier it is going to be for you to sustain that system. So how do we do this? Let's talk about space planning and clutter management. So I would encourage you to begin with an easy project. Start with that junk drawer in your kitchen, or maybe the linen closet or medicine cabinet. Something that you can do, complete the whole thing at one time. Starting with the basement or that picture of that garage is probably not the best place to start, because you're not going to be able to complete it in one time, and it will be very overwhelming. I encourage you to take every item out and take a look at it, and then identify the items that you can part with. Thinking about, is it expired? Do you use it regularly? Do you need it, or do you really love it? And then figure out what to do with those items. Perhaps they could be donated. There's many companies that will come right to your house and pick up donations, or you can take them places. Perhaps you have items that could be sold, whether you take it to an auction house or do Facebook Marketplace. And then, of course, you're going to have items that unfortunately just have to go in the trash. But get rid of everything that you can first, and then with the items that are left, figure out where their designated spot is, and make sure that things are accessible. You may not need to get to that top level of your kitchen cabinets anymore. Um, make sure that you can reach things, and you're able to get them as people age, and their mobility increases. It's really important that things are moved to accommodate this new lifestyle. And that is what I have for you today. I thank you all for coming, and welcome any questions. You're more than welcome to email me or call me if you have any questions. Um, Thank you very much.